So I'm going to be talking about a movie that means a lot to me, that in recent years we have, like, us fans who are fans of the movie, finally been able to get the movie we were promised. And I don't know if anyone here is a comic book fan, but the movie is Justice League. So... yeah. So this movie is Justice League. So there was an original version released back in 2017, which was the theatrical cut, but a lot of fans didn't like it. So we've been wanting a director's cut. Now I'm going to start by explaining what is a director's cut. A director's cut is a version of the movie that reflects the director's original intentions, released after the first studio version of the theatrical cut, most likely. It's usually longer than the theatrical release because they tend to cut out footage that are either is deemed unnecessary, or you get deleted scenes, or the film's been changed, and it's because they try to make it shorter for the general public audience. Now, this movie was plagued by a ton of production issues leading up to the film. So there was some studio mandates, such as a 2-hour runtime, more humor, it wasn't really funny, more color, and an extremely shortened plot, which cut out all backstory and all the stuff that the films prior to had been building up towards. Just made it into an action movie with no substance. The film's original director, Zack Snyder, didn't think he could realistically tell the story in less than 3 to 3.5 hours or so. So obviously after hearing that, you're expecting something epic and long. Seeing as the movie is realistically only an hour and 45 minutes, plus 2 hours total when you include credits, you already know things are missing out even before you see it. So I think that this movie should have been delayed because aside from all the production issues, which is why I issued the warning earlier, the film should have been delayed because in March of 2017, Zack Snyder, the original director, lost his daughter, Autumn, because she had committed suicide because of her own teen issues. And he tried to make it through and stay on in April and May, and then he had to leave the project. So now not only did he have to leave the project to cope with his own grievances, but Warner Brothers wanted to still release the movie on time so they could get their yearly bonuses at the end of the year, because they were afraid that the AT&T merger was going to cancel the film entirely. So they hired Joss Whedon to fix the movie and honor Snyder's vision, but instead he made it way worse. And instead of crediting it as a Joss Whedon film and directed by Joss Whedon because the film had drastically changed, they credited it for Zack Snyder. So now not only did he have to leave something he was really passionate about, but now for next time being, whenever someone would say, "Oh, this film's so horrible," they would just blame it on him because his name was the only one attached. And that isn't the case. And it's such a backhand to him and his work, and it really gets me mad because I want to become a film director. I want to become a show movie maker or whatever. And if you put so much time into a project that you pretty much finish it, the film just needed to be edited. They finished filming when the tragedy happened, but you put so much work for it to just be completely discredited, and then the studio goes in and changes it. It's you're already going through something horrible, that now you feel even worse because it's you haven't gotten any respect, and it's all that time is for that. Now, Joss Whedon's impact. So I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but he came in to fix the movie by adding humor, more color, and overall just making some interesting decisions. He did, I will give him this, he added a few cool elements. There was the color grade of the red tone final battle, which I like, instead of the dark blues, and then the idea that parademons are attracted to fear, much like how sharks are attracted to blood. And there's also a callback to the line, "Do you bleed?" from EVS. He also caused the film to be more streamlined. but this meant cutting out all the character backstories for the new people that we were setting up to learn specifically what their backstories were in this movie, Aquaman, Cyborg, and the Flash. Now, if you don't believe me, I'm going to show you a quick little video. So the original film was in like IMAX ratio, so it's like a square, and the other one was widescreen. So here's just like an example.
Children, I want you to. You guys see what's going on outside?
So you can see there's like a few clear differences just now. From the darker tone, from the black and silver Superman, to it had Darkseid, which is like their Thanos, I guess you could say, whatnot, and like all these things. So some of the things that have changed are the character designs, exactly, like mainly the one for the main villain Steppenwolf, by actually making him scarier looking. Like you can see one that's like, oh, like he's just like whatever. The other one that's like all these spikes moving. New characters were in it: Martian Manhunter, Darkseid. The Snyder Cut, which is or like the official version, is actually Snyder's Justice League, which has like 30 more like minutes of like epilogue footage, because he's never going to be able to make the sequels, like touching on what those would have been, is now 4 hours instead of 2. Like the first one was literally 2 hours long, this one is 4 hours, so it's a longer story. And then those original 2 hours, like an hour and a half of that is all like new footage. People who were hesitant about this cut after seeing the theatrical release are now seeing, after seeing this, that this was always the superior version. And compared to the original trailers, all of the original shots were in it. Like sometimes you'll see a trailer for a movie and you're like, oh, that looks so cool. And then you see the movie and you're like, well, what about this scene? Because they cut it out. What next? Nothing. Sadly, this was a one and done event, meaning even though we finally got the original version of the movie from 2017 to 2021, we're not going to be getting any sequels within the near future. Next up is that this film, as well as the rest of the trilogy, including Man of Steel and BVS Dawn of Justice Ultimate Edition, are being screened at a fan event SchneiderCon, with this version being screened for the first time in full IMAX and in color. Previously had a screening last June in black and white as the Justice Gray edition, because when he took the footage, like a little somewhat illegally, but on his own personal hard drive, before all the VFX were done. He just kept it to himself, and it was like black and white, so it was always in that square ratio in black and white, and that's the only way you could see it with like the storyboards cut in between. But they finally finished it, and that's why he wanted to release a black and white version, because that's like the version he's known for years. And we'll also have proceeds continuing to go to the American Prevention for Teen Suicides and all those charities, to honor his daughter. The film even ends right before the credits with a for Autumn Schneider, with like the birth year under from like, I think it was like 1994, 1995 to like 2017. But yeah, so, or whatnot. And yeah, so I'm just glad the film's out. So what now? Now we can relax knowing that we finally have the Schneider cut, but I hope that someday we get a sequel, and I hope that the studios going forward will stop interfering so much with their movies, or else they could turn out like this. And like, if I make a project someday, who's to say like they're gonna like cancel? Like, there was a movie that was meant to release Batgirl last October. It was similar to this, but like they had finished it, they had finished the editing, everything, and then like literally a week before the first trailer was supposed to release, they canceled it and wrote it off as a tax write-off. So no one, like, I don't know if anyone got paid, but either way, all of your hard work was for nothing, because now no one can ever see it. So that's why I'm like scared that something could happen to something I make. Now, DC's last movie release to do with this continuity is The Flash, which releases in June. They're moving on creating a new movie universe with the official reboot arriving in 2025. The brand new Superman movie that won't be starring Henry Cavill or his CGI upper lip from the original Justice League, because he had to have a mustache and it was a lot. But other than that, this is the Justice League I want to see more of. And this is the Justice League that I hope the general public wants to see more of. So at the end of the day, support the director's original vision, and hopefully the studios will stop meddling with like someone's work, because at the end of the day, it is a form of art, and when you create art, it's almost like taking a painting and just splattering stuff over it, like you're tarnishing it. But anyway, that's how I feel, so that's my speech. So.